Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 475 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng was dazed the second he walked out of his miniature universe. There were powerful forces permeating everywhere, and there were quite a few great beings gathering right outside the miniature universe. Some of the ripples were strong, while some were weak. There must have been some true gods as well as some universe masters waiting outside. Those ripples alone could deter the great beings from the first and the second universe era so that they didn't dare to come and bother Luo Feng. Luo Feng was even able to see through the space in the distance and see Long Yang, true god, who was standing far away. Why are there so many great beings from all the races in the original universe gathering outside my miniature universe? Luo Feng was confused, and then he permeated his own energy ripples. All of a sudden, the most powerful ripple in the area appeared in the vast space. Contained in the ripples was a force everyone was familiar with, the force of Luo Feng. Milky Way Horde Leader. It's the ripple of Milky Way Horde Leader. All of a sudden, one great being after another teleported and rushed to Luo Feng's side. One being after another appeared. They all looked at the origin of the ripple. It was a human male in a white cape. Milky Way Horde Leader. Congratulations, Milky Way Horde Leader, on becoming a true god. Congratulations. Milky Way. All the voices were echoing in Luo Feng's ears. Some belonged to beings of other races who had come to congratulate him, and some belonged to excited humans. Luo Feng reigned in his ripples. After doing that, he felt like an ordinary human being. Huh? Luo Feng was slightly dazed. Reigning in forces? While trying to pull back his ripples, Luo Feng discovered that he was able to keep reigning in his forces. He was even able to pull back his ripples completely, so that no great beings would be able to find him. Generally, it was impossible to pull back life forces, as they were used to identify great beings. However, he found that he was able to do just that. It seems that there's more potential in my body, Luo Feng thought. That's right. There are 3 levels on the godly power path. At 30,000 times, godly bodies can be 10 times taller, and at 60,000 times, godly bodies can be 1,000 times taller. If someone reaches 90,000 times, he'll be able to change his godly body to any size he wants. As for me, my godly body is at 100,000 times, so it must have some unknown power. I'll need to study it carefully later. He'd already concluded that since billions of races all congratulated him when he became a true god at a life gene level of 100,000 times, his godly body was more complicated than he thought. However, he had kept his focus on the birth of his miniature universe, the structure of his universe, and the evolution of chaos, so he didn't have the capacity of study his own body. More and more great beings gathered in the space outside his miniature universe, and there were already more than 10 true gods and hundreds of universe masters. Most were from the original universe. Some universe masters had also been sent by the Divine Eye clan to help. Teacher? A red-haired teenager flew toward Luo Feng. It was Fire Dome, true god, the most powerful disciple of Luo Feng. Fire Dome. Luo Feng nodded. 2 other beings also flew toward him. They were Long Yang, true god, and Void Gold, true god. Long Yang and Void God. Luo Feng was smiling. What happened? Why are there so many great beings from all the races gathering outside my miniature universe? I thought you were ganging up against the sector beasts. Long Yang, true god, looked relaxed. Ha ha. We're here precisely because of sector beasts. Sector beasts? Luo Feng looked worried. They showed up again? Not long ago, said Void Gold, true god, sector beasts showed up again. Those from the first and the second universe era were all very anxious. We feared that they would bother you by attacking your miniature universes, so we surrounded your miniature universe so that no other races could disturb you. Luo Feng listened while nodding. He had concentrated on the structure of his miniature universe and comprehending the evolution of chaos so nobody was able to find him. If someone had attacked his miniature universe, they would have negatively affected him to a certain extent. How many sector beasts are there? Asked Luo Feng. This was the issue he actually cared about. It's okay. There's only one, said Void Gold True God. Long Yang added, let's go back first, Milky Way. Okay. Luo Feng nodded. He looked around and saw a large group of great beings from all the races gathering in the distance, so he said, thank you for guarding my miniature universe. I already know about the sector beasts, and I'll do everything in my power to help. It's our duty, said the various great beings from all the races. We can't get rid of the sector beasts, but guarding you is only a small matter. We wouldn't let those from other universe eras distract you from comprehending the evolution of chaos. If someone dares to disturb Milky Way Horde leader, he'll make himself an enemy of us all. Luo Feng expressed his gratitude, then went back to the original universe with Long Yang, Void Gold, and Fire Dome. Luo Feng easily connected to the virtual universe after he went back to the original universe. The human race had prepared a grand celebration to congratulate him on becoming a true god. However, there were sector beasts outside endangering all the races, so they kept it simple. Inside the True God Palace, many beautiful servants were walking around with plates on their hands, and all the true gods sat in the thrones. Down there many universe masters had gathered. There were more than 2,000 universe masters, which showed how powerful the original universe was. There were even great beings from the bug race and the demon race who had come to congratulate Luo Feng. There weren't eternal grudges among the races. In the past, the power among the races had been roughly even, so the power struggle had been intense. However, the humans were now so mighty that other races like the demon race no longer had the ambition to seize the throne. There's no need to worry about the sector beasts. Luo Feng asked Primal Chaos City leader, who was sitting beside him. No need, said Primal Chaos City leader. The sector beast showed up 9 times in total, and then it disappeared. It's been half a month since it last appeared, and I assume the sector beast swallowed lots of origins and started to transform the power. Luo Feng nodded. It sounded right. Last time, the sector beast had done the same thing, as it had needed a long time to convert the energy after swallowing the origins. I think it might take it a long time to convert the power. At least 1 year, said Primal Chaos City leader. There's no need to rush things. However, these are sector beasts, after all, so the celebration is simple. Someone becoming a true god was a huge event for a race. If not for the sector beasts, the celebration would normally have lasted for a year. The one for Luo Feng only lasted a day. Besides, this sector beast swallowed the origin slower than last time, said Primal Chaos City leader. It's only half as fast as last time. Oh? Luo Feng nodded. The speed at which a sector beast swallowed an origin could indicate the power of a sector beast. That meant the sector beast this time was weaker. However, there's a chance that the sector beast is just pretending to be weak, said Primal Chaos City leader. And there's a chance he's setting a trap for you. You need to be careful. I understand. Luo Feng nodded. After the celebration, Luo Feng left the original universe and entered the vast universe ocean, beginning to patrol. It's been a long time since the sector beast showed up last time, and it should be absorbing and converting the origins it swallowed before. A spaceship showed up in the chaos space, floating in place. Luo Feng was in it. It might last a long time. I need to exploit the potential of my body carefully before the sector beast comes again. Luo Feng started to study the potential carefully again. Now, he finally had some time to tap all his potentialities after becoming a true god. Of course, Luo Feng divided his consciousness into 2 parts. Only part of his consciousness was exploiting the potential of his body. As for the other part, it focused on the godly power body beside the black-striped stone pillar. In that space where time traveled 10 million times faster, he was trying to fully absorb the comprehension of the evolution of chaos. He tried to improve. He was preparing for the upcoming war. Luo Feng wasn't worried about the war at all. Based on the fight against Morosa, especially given the information Morosa had leaked and part of the information leaked by the original mind, Luo Feng could extrapolate. Firstly, the original mind had said that sector beasts had to be eliminated before this universe era ended. Apparently, the king of sector beasts would not be born until the first universe era almost ended. Presently, there was still a long time to go. And besides, Morosa had nearly been crushed by Luo Feng, and it had said that after entering the third level, only Betty could have severely injured him. That meant, the third level in the sector beast hive was the top power. I can easily kill sector beasts at the third level, Luo Feng thought. Months passed, yet that sector beast never showed up. This made all the races in Universe Ocean anxious. In the silent chaos space, a dark being curled up in space. Its power was gradually being strengthened. Finally, it stretched its body and opened its eyes. Finally, I've converted and absorbed the energies. Both eyes of Morosa were glinting fiercely. I've reached pinnacle level 2. It's been such a long time. That Milky Way Horde leader should have shown up. Morosa knew that even if it recovered to pinnacle level 3 or even to Bedis level, it wouldn't be Luo Feng's match. Turning into a true god indicated a great breakthrough in power. The exception would be if a large number of sector beasts made attacks at the same time, using quantity to make up for lack of quality. If they cooperated and attacked at the same time, even true gods of void space would die. However, the sector beasts were trying to kill each other, so it was impossible for them to cooperate. They were trying to swallow each other until the king was born. That was their destiny. I'm coming. Morosa teleported and disappeared. Luo Feng's spaceship floated outside the miniature universe of rampaging devil god. Nobody knew where Luo Feng was guarding, as nobody knew who the spy was, not even the human true gods. Luo Feng had gone to different places. My body has such power, Luo Feng said. He was amazed. The power of his body, after reaching 100,000 times, was incredible. Before, the life gene level had been mainly about godly power storage, but after reaching 100,000 times, it had reached a different level. For godly power storage, after gaining an endless godly body, it reached its peak. Yet after Luo Feng reached 100,000 times, he had a variety of power called invisible and formless. Luo Feng's blood, flesh, skin, and the structures deeper that were constituting his life started to change, and soon later his skin became dark, and there was black mist surrounding his body. At the same time, another head appeared on his head, and each head had a single bloody eye. It was permeating wicked forces, and it was definitely a sector beast. The forces coming from it were definitely the forces of sector beasts. Luo Feng had already reached the legendary level of 100,000 times, which was sheer perfection. Also, it had the characteristics of sector beasts and universe masters, true gods, and true gods of void space. Two different lineages were combined in the same body. The negative side and the positive side usually neutralized each other. However, Luo Feng had reached the peak and was able to merge the two sides, reaching perfection. He was able to permeate godly power. However, if he deliberately altered the force, he was able to easily transform all the energies in his body to an opposite energy, the power of sector beasts. Certainly, that was the only thing he could do. As for the colorful portal, the separation of bodies, and the skill to breed endless warriors, Luo Feng didn't have any of those. He was only able to transform the energies, he couldn't change his soul. There were 1 billion sector beasts in total, and while they had high life gene levels, they weren't at the perfect level of 100,000 times. Only the king was perfect. Although sector beasts could simulate the force on the surface, they weren't able to convert their energies into godly power completely. If they were really able to convert the energies, there would have been no need for them to be afraid of 9 remoteness true master. Even though they had slightly lower life gene levels than Luo Feng, they were born for destruction. From level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, they kept evolving and getting stronger. The final king of sector beasts would be at the same level as the original universe, which was a level Luo Feng could never attain. After all, Luo Feng was only a creature born inside the original universe. No matter how great he was, he couldn't compare to sector beasts. Sector beasts were bred by Universe Ocean, standing in opposition to the original universe. Converting his energy into the force of sector beasts was only one of the skills. Invisible and formless also meant Luo Feng was able to perfectly hide his life force. His diagram of life structure was perfect, which was why he could perfectly hide it. Plus, he was also able to alter his force and imitate other forces. Change. Luo Feng immediately changed. He turned into sector beast Morosa, emanating the same force as Morosa. Change. Luo Feng became Primal Chaos City leader, having the same life force. Change. Luo Feng became 9 Remoteness True Master. Change. Luo Feng became Blood Orchid Ancestor. Change. Luo Feng became a spaceship, boat of Mausoleum, even emanating the same force of the valuable. Change. Luo Feng became a floating rock in the space, with the same force. He had the perfect diagram of structure, and he was able to turn into flesh and blood, metal, and plant life forms with the same force. It meant that Luo Feng could turn into any great being or any object. Of course, when it came to those that were too special, like His Majesty the Godly King from Jin country, the willpower contained within couldn't be duplicated by Luo Feng. He was able to turn into anyone and anything within his limit. Incredible. Much more incredible than the limitless godly body and flexible sizes of bodies. Luo Feng was thrilled. At the 3rd level of godly body, one had a limitless godly body and a flexible size. However, compared to invisible and formless, after reaching perfection, it was still inferior. Of course, this ability was not invincible. If I am locked in place, then it will be useless, Luo Feng thought. If he were trapped in a single thought void space, no matter how he changed, his enemies would be able to see him changing, so he wouldn't be able to get away. No matter how powerful an ability was, there were weaknesses. Even sector beasts had weaknesses, not to mention Luo Feng. While Luo Feng rejoiced to discover the ability he had after his life gene level reached 100,000 times, sector beast Morosa met 9-headed demon master again. "These were what happened when you disappeared, my king," said 9-headed demon master respectfully. "Did you leave out anything?" Morosa gazed at 9-headed demon master with his 2 singular eyes. "No," 9-headed demon master shook his head. Morosa waved his claws. "Go." 9-headed demon master bowed, teleported, and disappeared. Morosa stood in the space of chaos air, and the air was surrounding him. He stood still, sometimes looking furious, sometimes looking reluctant, sometimes looking mad. Milky Way Horde leader. Both of the singular eyes of Morosa glinted with insanity. "I can't kill you, and I have no chance to become the king anymore. But I'll make you regret what you did." Luo Feng at true god level made Morosa desperate. He felt like an ant facing a mountain. If it could become the king of sector beasts, it could definitely kill Luo Feng. However, even in the nest of sector beasts, it was a weakling who would be crushed by the others. Back in the nest, it would be killed. It was better for him to behave insanely and perhaps successfully get his revenge. "No matter what, I'll give all your information to Betty and the others." Ha ha ha. Morosa immediately started to send the message. All the sector beasts were able to use telepathy, and they could send their messages to each other naturally. "Betty, and other idiots. I am the great Morosa. Aren't you all trying to kill me? Unfortunately, none of you are qualified to kill me. I, Morosa, will die very soon. The one who is going to kill me is the most powerful great being in Universe Ocean. The human, Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng. Remember this name, Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng. He's powerful beyond all your imagination. When he was only a universe master, he was able to overpower all the other true gods and was already the #1 great being in Universe Ocean. When he was fighting me, he was at such a great advantage that I couldn't resist him at all, and I could only flee. I went back to level 1 from level 3 because of him. Betty, even you're not his match. And now, he has already become a true god. He's only going to get more powerful, and I can't even imagine how powerful he is now. If it's a 1-to-1 battle, even if you are at pinnacle level 4 now, you'll be killed by him, Betty. All you idiots must fight him together, or consume each other to give birth to level 5 sector beasts or higher. Fight and kill each other, and let the final king be born. Remember, beware of Milky Way Horde leader. Don't let him destroy the sector beasts. Betty. Ha ha. You failed to kill me after all. The message was spread. The eyes of Morosa gleamed all the more madly, as it wasn't afraid of death anymore. Now that its message had been sent, the sector beasts would start to prepare for everything now. Ha ha. Milky Way Horde leader, this is only the first gift for you. I have a second gift. Morosa instantly teleported and disappeared. In the core area of one of the 3 lands of Extremis, in Tilted Peak Sector, in the Land of Darkness, was the hive of sector beasts. Every sector beast received the message sent by Morosa, and it shocked all the sector beasts in the hive. They hadn't realized that the life forms in Universe Ocean, which they treated as food, could give birth to such a terrific creature. The one who knocked Morosa back to level 1 was only a Universe Master. Milky Way Horde leader? Now that is a true god. Is he really more powerful than Betty? All the sector beasts everywhere in the hive immediately remembered Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng. The ferocious sector beast known as Betty, who was swallowing flesh and blood endlessly, suddenly raised both of its heads. Black blood dripped from the edges of its lips. The dying sector beast was yelling, "Did you hear that, Betty? Even you'll be killed by that Milky Way Horde leader if you meet him. You'll die. You'll die as well." Betty opened its mouth abruptly and swallowed half of the head of the dying sector beast. Its eyes were cold. Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng? Betty whispered the name. One miniature universe after another was located outside the original universe, and they floated around the original universe. They belonged to the true gods from the original universe, so they were all very close to it. These miniature universes were all very safe. They were all connected to the original universe through universe portals, so even if they were swallowed by the sector beasts, the true gods from the original universe could arrive as soon as possible to fight them by following the universe portals. Morosa had never attacked the miniature universes of the true gods that belonged to the original universe era. The chaos air trembled. A black, ugly being showed up in space. Morosa was staring at the miniature universe in the distance. He muttered, "This? Is this the miniature universe of the greatest and the first leader of the human race, Teacher Origin? It seems to be called the Primal universe. Teacher Origin is completely suppressed, and he isn't even able to control his own miniature universe. He can't even drive it to morph, which is why it remains at the primal status. And without Teacher Origin to control it, that means his small universe doesn't have his willpower to guard it. Morosa was looking forward to it. Which means it'll be the most efficient to swallow his miniature universe. Swallowing the origin of a miniature universe depended, for one thing, on the level of the miniature universe. The more advanced a miniature universe was, the more resistant it was. For another thing, the willpower of the true god also mattered. When Morosa had swallowed Purple Moon Holy Land, he had been able to eat it quickly. However, when Purple Moon Ancestor had utilized his willpower to guard it, the Holy Land had become much more resistant. I should be able to eat the miniature universe of Teacher Origin much faster than others, Morosa thought. Let it begin. If I can swallow the universe of the earliest leader of the human race, will Luo Feng and the humans lose their minds? Morosa expected as much. In the virtual universe, Primal Chaos City leader and Darkness True God were walking halfway up the peak of Thunder Island, talking with each other. A being condensed in front of them. Teacher. Both Primal Chaos City leader and Darkness True God were happily surprised, as it was unusual for them to see Teacher Origin. Teacher Origin, dressed in the white cape, said anxiously, "Go to the Primal universe now. The origin of my miniature universe is being swallowed by a sector beast. I'm being suppressed, so I can't guard the origin with my willpower to resist it. I think, after an hour, 80% of my origin will be lost. Then I'll never become a true god of void space." What? Both Primal Chaos City leader and Darkness True God were terrified. "Okay, we're going now, teacher." Chaos and Darkness were desperately anxious. Teacher Origin was a being who had risen while the human race was still weak. He had been the first great being in Universe Ocean, and although he was suppressed, he had still created the virtual universe which greatly helped the humans, and had cultivated many great beings like Huge Axe, Primal Chaos City Leader, Darkness True God, and Ice Mountain Master. Without him, there wouldn't be Chaos, Huge Axe, or Darkness, and Luo Feng wouldn't have obtained such accomplishments. He had made an incomparable contribution to the human race. Tell everyone. Go to the Primal Universe now. Go to the Primal Universe now. Primal Chaos City Leader immediately gave an order through the virtual universe. The origin of the Primal Universe doesn't have the willpower of Teacher Origin to guard it, so it's extremely weak. It's being swallowed by the Sector Beast. Go there now. Go there now. The order was sent. It's swallowing the Primal Universe of Teacher Origin? Goddamn Sector Beast. How dare it? God damn it. All the human true gods immediately took off for the Primal Universe through the universe portal. Luo Feng. Luo Feng, who was guarding the miniature universe of rampaging devil god, immediately took out his communications token. Teacher, answered Luo Feng. Come back now. Come back now. Primal Chaos City Leader transmitted his voice. The Sector Beast is swallowing the Primal Universe of Teacher Origin. Teacher Origin is being suppressed, so he can't guard the origin of the Primal Universe. It's swallowing the origin very quickly. 80% of the origin of the Primal Universe will be gone in 1 hour. What? Luo Feng was shocked. Normally, when a universe was being swallowed, it could last for at least 10 days against the swallowing speed of that Sector Beast. Was the Primal Universe that weak? 80% would be gone in only 1 hour? Little did Luo Feng know that it was very important to have the willpower of the true gods to guard miniature universes. Purple Moon had slowed down the pace of his miniature universe being swallowed to 1/100th because he had guarded it with his willpower. I'm coming now, said Luo Feng. Tell other true gods to stop that Sector Beast first. Luo Feng took back Star Tower and started to teleport to advance by himself. Universe Masters and True Gods had different distances of teleportation, with True Gods being faster. Why could True Gods move farther in teleportation? Because the heart of True God could resist the influence with the origin, so they could sense a more distant spot. The teleportation distance of True Gods of void space was larger than that of True Gods. Luo Feng's miniature universe was 1,000 times larger than the miniature universes of normal True Gods, almost as large as Purple Moon Holy Land. Under beginning of the origin, its origin was incredible, so his teleportation distance was at the level of a true god of void space. Luo Feng kept teleporting. If I were still a universe master, it would take me 5 days to get back from rampaging devil god. Now, it's just over 1 hour. Luo Feng was worried sick. Rampaging devil god was from the second universe era, so his miniature universe was not far from the original universe, much closer than the miniature universes of the true gods from the first universe era. However, it might still take him more than an hour, so he couldn't make it in time. While Luo Feng was heading back at his fastest speed, Morosa was swallowing the miniature universe nearest to him in the space close to the original universe. It was permeating traces of circuitous light to penetrate the space, devouring the origin. So quick! Without the willpower, the speed is so satisfying. I can't believe I can still have delicious food of this sort before I die. Ha ha ha. Morosa was devouring it with all its energies. The space around it was clotted. His coming? Morosa was shocked. It immediately separated its body into 99 parts, and they quickly flew in 99 different directions. Don't even run, Sector Beast, said a furious voice. Freeze! Primal Chaos City Leader, bathed in golden light, pointed at the Sector Beast, enraged. There was a strange token floating on his palm, which was giving out endless green light, covering an area of several square light years. The great binding power immediately worked on all 99 bodies, gradually slowing them down. Kill it! Peng Gong True God roared in anger. Lock! With him as the center, tens of millions of endless water pillars burst out and extended relentlessly, forming a vast ocean. All of a sudden, 32 of the 99 bodies were covered in the ocean immediately. Even though all those bodies tried to hit the ocean, they weren't able to make their way out. "Don't you dare hurt my teacher!" Darkness True God raised his head and roared. At the same time, the cloak on his back was suddenly enlarged, transforming into endless darkness. It covered all 99 bodies like a dark universe. "Don't you dare hurt Teacher Origin! Die! Die!" There were more than 30 true gods, and all of them were performing every skill they knew, either spiritual weapon-binding skills or godly power sweeping from darkness and Peng Gong. Those weaker true gods like Fire Dome and even the true gods from other races in the Hong Alliance all tried their best. They were doing everything in their power to save the most ancient leader of the human race. Gather! The other 98 bodies of the Sector Beast that were fleeing all disappeared, and the only body left turned back to the original body. That move rendered everything that Darkness and Peng Gong did useless. Separate. Sector Beast separated into 99 pieces and tried to flee again. It was fleeing at a rapid pace, but the binding power couldn't be overcome. If there were already domain-type binding valuables in place, any other domain-type valuable would be useless over that. Meanwhile, the Sector Beast was incredibly sly and fast, and it finally made its way out of the army of human true gods. This is crazy. They are acting like crazy. Morosa was scared as it moved through space. It's only been a short while, but under that godly power consumption, 1/3 of my strength is gone. Fortunately, I decided to run immediately. Otherwise, I wouldn't even have had a chance to get away. However, it's not that easy for me to give up. The more intense you get, the more satisfied I am. I am even happy to die. Morosa's eyes gleamed with madness. It teleported and rushed toward the Primal universe again. In the space outside the Primal universe, Primal Chaos City leader and other true gods he was leading were all furious. Primal Chaos City leader gave an order, "Let's stay here and guard the Primal universe. After all, it is the more fragile one. If other miniature universes of ours are swallowed afterward, we can still make other plans." "Okay," answered all the true gods from other races in the Hong Alliance. "Let's follow Primal Chaos City leader." Primal Chaos City leader nodded, but he was still worried. Although they were here, they had their godly power avatars in the Primal universe, so they could easily connect to the virtual universe. No. The Sector Beast has started to swallow the Primal universe again. It's still swallowing the universe? How dare it come again? Everyone was shocked, but, at the same time, they also received the coordinates of the Sector Beast sent by Teacher Origin. Go? Everyone teleported and dashed toward the Sector Beast. A miniature universe had a diameter of 100 million light-years. Usually, Sector Beasts were able to swallow them from several hundred million light-years away, so even if Sector Beasts randomly chose a place several hundred million light-years away from the miniature universe and began to absorb it, it would take the true gods a while to get there. The Sector Beast swallowed the small universe from one spot for only 10 seconds at a time, and then it would immediately teleport and flee to a more distant spot and swallow the miniature universe for another 10 seconds. Primal Chaos City leader and the other true gods were being made to look like fools. Separate now and separate into 10 different teams, Primal Chaos City leader ordered. That Sector Beast is obviously weaker than the one last time. Scatter into 10 teams. Even though we can't kill it, we can at least banish it. Okay. Okay. Immediately, they were divided into 10 different teams, surrounding the Primal universe in different locations. By doing so, the team closest would be able to get to the Sector Beast in several seconds once they located it, forcing it to flee. However, now that they were separated into 10 teams, none of the teams would be able to kill or even severely injure the Sector Beast. It was madness. Sector Beast Morosa had gone completely mad. It had no intention of fighting any true god, and once it ran into one, it would fly away, then come back and keep swallowing. It had its sights on the Primal universe. It was only able to swallow it for 1 or 2 seconds at a time, but it was determined to destroy the Primal universe. A message arrived. Where is the sector beast, teacher? Finally, you have come back, Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City leader was exhilarated, and he immediately sent a message to Luo Feng. It's at. Although he was one of the 8 great overlords and it was easy for him to defeat a sector beast, it was almost impossible for him to kill one. In the space surrounding the primal universe, Luo Feng, clothed in a white cape, stepped forward. After he confirmed the coordinates, he turned around with his eyes looking aloof. That's where it is. Luo Feng took a step and teleported. He was able to teleport much farther than other true gods. Although the sector beast was also able to teleport farther than other true gods, it was still a shorter distance than Luo Feng. You've finally come, said Morosa. Get in. Luo Feng reached out his hands, and a tower flew out of his palm. It was Star Tower. Star Tower immediately flew to the sky, giving out endless gleaming light. There was an endless dark whirlpool at the base of the tower that covered an area of several square light years, extending toward the sector beast Morosa in the distance. Before this whirlpool, Morosa felt incredibly weak. It wasn't able to resist it in the slightest. It was immediately swallowed by the endless darkness at the base of Star Tower. This video will end here.